Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. We're going to start in, let's say, about 2 or 3 minutes. So take your time to, or it's time to head to your seats. And I'll be right back in a moment. If you need to run to the restroom, they're over here. We have refreshments, which are mostly for after, but if you want to grab something now, that's fine. And then we have some lovely slideshows up here of various stages in Ellen's life. So I'll be back in just a few minutes. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Peter McDowell, and I'm the youngest son of Ellen McDowell. And we have our whole family here, and so we're all really pleased to see you all. John is, my brother John here is the musical director of today's program, and he's going to make a little talk in a few minutes about everything, but just to let you know, the restrooms are over here. We have some slideshows up here. We have a program that has a song that we're all going to sing together at the end called Lift Every Voice. So if you don't have one, maybe try to find a neighbor you could share with. What else? I think that's it. Basically, we're going to have some music, and we're going to have some talks, and we're going to have an open mic period later where people can come up and make very short remembrances of our mother and grandmother, Ellen McDowell. And to start out, we are very pleased to welcome one of the finest singers in this area, and she's known our family for a long time. She actually sang at our father's memorial 10 years ago. Dr. Ollie Watts Davis from the University of Illinois, thank you so much.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn through the storm, through the night. Lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me home. When my way grows drear, precious Lord, linger near. When my life is almost gone, hear my cry, hear my call, hold my hand, lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me home. When the darkness appears and the night draws near, and the day is past and gone, at the river precious Lord, and lead me home.
Wow, that was so beautiful, Ali. Thank you so much. As Peter said, I'm John McDowell, son of Austin and Ellen McDowell. Thank you so much for coming today. It's really great to see so many faces. I'm here with my siblings, of course, and an extended family who have come from all over, from the West and the East, and we're really great. It's really great to be here and great to acknowledge Ellen and have this memorial for her. But it's really a celebration, okay? So, and I think there's someone that I just also want to point out that you probably know, most of you, and is sort of a pillar of Daily Bread, and that's Henry Sajewski, who's my wife's husband. I don't know, Henry? Sorry. Yesterday I introduced my niece as my daughter, so I get those things mixed up. I'm getting to be that age. Yeah. We're all sisters and brothers, right? So, as I said, we're here to acknowledge Ellen, and it's been a long time coming. We thought the Daily Bread would be just the appropriate location because it's such a big part of her legacy. She lived a long life, as we know. She lived to be 99 years old, which is just incredible. When we were going through her things, we actually, I think my sister found an article on how to live to be 100, so she almost made it. And though, you know, we knew this day was coming, it would come someday, it's still challenging and for us, and yet I think we can feel the loss but also celebrate her at the same time. She truly believed that life was part of a longer journey. When she was about to go into an operating room at 97 to get pretty serious surgery, the surgeon said, "Well, Miss McDowell, there's a chance you may not make it." And she said, without missing a beat, in her immutable way, she said, "Well, that would be fine. That would." And some of you, of course, knew her just in passing at Daily Bread, and some of you were intimate friends with her, and some of us, like us, knew her for our entire life. And when you spoke with Ellen, it was evident that she was a highly intelligent person, but at the same time, she was very humble. Her favorite people were the saints and the peacemakers, Julian of Norwich, St. Francis, Martin Luther King, Gandhi. And to her, Jesus, Buddha, and all the mystics had the same message. Love your brothers and sisters, love everyone, help the needy. This was her passion, and she indeed walked the talk. She was active in groups that promoted the causes for social justice, nonviolence, civil rights, equality, peace, and poverty alleviation. Some of the groups were the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, the local chapter of the Martin Luther King Jr. Advocacy for Justice Committee, and Pax Christi, and there was several others. She was, of course, inspired by the work of Dorothy Day, who originated the idea of the Catholic Worker House, and Ellen actually met her in New York years ago. If you sat and talked with Ellen, it wasn't long before she would come up with a quote or a line from Whitman or Emerson, the Bible or the classics, and it would be perfectly fitting for the moment that you were talking about in the conversation. She actually might even recite a whole poem from memory, which she did with me 2 weeks before she passed, and it was a poem that actually is on, it will be connected with the website. You can hear her recite that poem. It's actually about death, and it's just the way she recited was so beautiful. And the poem is about not the misery of death, but the fact that it's inevitable, and it can be a beautiful thing. Well, coming from mostly Irish stock. I really thought you should know something about her background. She was born in East St. Louis in 1924, just 4 years after the women were given the right to vote, if you can imagine that. Her mother, Lydia, was a one-room schoolhouse teacher in Baraboo, Wisconsin. And she drove a buggy to the school every school day in rain or sleet or whatever. And it was something sort of like the house on the prairie, the way it was described. Lydia's father, Fred Howard, was an avid reader, and this is Ellen's grandfather, but also a naturalist and trapper who was once captured by the Lakota Indians. And Ellen spoke about how he was such a positive force when he visited, teaching all the children how to shoot bows and arrows and respect the natural world. But her mother and grandfather surely played a part in forming her mental capacity, her spirituality, and love of nature. Ellen's father, Clark, had a tough childhood in rural southern Illinois, but was dedicated to the family and was known for helping anyone who was stuck on the road or anyone in need or trouble. Her aunts Isabel and Ellen lived with the family for several years and provided another layer of support and actually humor. Ellen was such an excellent storyteller. I'm sure if you have heard some of her stories. And I regret that some of her stories will fade. And actually, Ellen would say, when an old person dies, a library burns. You know, it's true. She told a story about it at age 11. She wanted to go to the local Catholic school, and there was a contest. Her parents couldn't afford the school. It was $4 a semester. So weeks later, after she took the test, and it was really, she said it was more of an IQ test, she thought she hadn't won, and then there was a knock on the door, and it was her neighbor friend, and the girl said, "Did you hear? You won. How come you didn't answer the phone call?" Well, her parents couldn't pay the phone bill, and so that was the time of the Depression, and so she went to that school, and it was a really great school, and she learned, you know, so much of her wisdom from those nuns. She was able to eventually go to the U of I, something that the family was able to muster together. It was $36 a semester, if you can imagine. She tested out. She passed all the Latin as a freshman, and she was sent into graduate-level Greek courses. She was an art student, and she actually won first prize in a contest which was actually included some of her own professors. This is the sort of thing that you hear, but Ellen would never boast about it. She said, well, you know, I don't know, something must have happened, and they just decided to pick me. So she met her father, Austin, at the university, and I'm sure some of you met Austin here years ago. He came back from World War II. He was a pilot off an aircraft carrier in the Pacific. Such a mild-mannered guy, but that was a time that people just went off and rose to the occasion and went to war. Their first child, Jim, was born in 1948, and the last child was here, Peter, in 1967. To Ellen, nature was essential for children, and we were introduced to the woods of southern Illinois. Our home in Champaign became a local location for all the friends and outdoor activity and all the games. And a friend of mine who's here tonight, Phil Bloomer, reminded me a couple months ago that she would come out and break up fights with the boys, and she had no problem with that. And of course, some of you might have heard the story when there was some guys that were arguing, and it was getting close to fisticuffs here at the Daily Bread, and she just walked up and took their hands and said, "Now we will pray." And they stopped. Well, a sad chapter for Ellen, of course, was when our older brother Jimmy died in Vietnam. He was a soldier who had an honorable discharge, but then went back to Vietnam to be a journalist. And I think it was a really hard time for her to really find purpose in life, and she decided to take up painting again, and she joined the advocacy groups, some of them that I mentioned. And of course, she founded the Catholic Worker House down on Randolph. And eventually, of course, here we are at the Daily Bread Soup Kitchen. And I think this probably gave her the most joy in life after her family and all that. If there's anything that bonds humans together, it's when we rise up to help each other. As Andrea, my niece, reminded me, Ellen would say to her and others, "Tell me the burden of your thoughts." You know, it's so important, and I just hope that we can all take that and maybe find opportunities for ourselves when we can say that to our friends and those in need. And she also would say, make a connection with someone. Let your ego subside. So here in this place, we have the legacy of her philosophy and beliefs. What would Ellen want us to do and say? Well, she would say, don't weep for me, carry on, sing songs, and hug someone, give love. And she would once again quote the moralist Camus, who she would say this quote to me many times: "In the midst of winter, I looked within and found an invincible summer." And that's something that I feel sums up Ellen. She just would always try to find the silver lining in life. So the sun is set with our beautiful, beloved mother, your Miss Ellen, and we know she will keep shining for us from the realm of the angels and beyond. Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to bring up my daughter, Luna, who's a singer, and she's going to sing a few songs that my mother knew when she was a child, or about 11 or so. So Luna.
Hello. I'll be singing Stars Fading Above Me. Wait. Hello, hello. Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore tree. Dream a little dream of me. Say nighty night and kiss me. Just hold me tight and tell me you'll miss me. While I'm alone and blue as can be, dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear, just saying this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear, just saying this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. But in your dreams, whatever they be. Dream a little dream of me. Thank you, thank you. Next, I'll be singing a song called, yes? Oh, The Red, Red Robin. Okay. I'll be singing. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. When the red, red robin comes bobbing along, there'll be no more stopping when he stops throbbing his old sweet song. Oh, wake up, you sleepyhead, get up, get out of bed, cheer up, the sun is red, live, love, laugh and be happy. What if I've been blue? Now I'm walking through fields of flowers. Rain may glisten, but I'll still listen for hours and hours. I'm just a kid again, doing what I did again, singing a song. When the red, red robin comes bobbing along. When the red, red robin comes bobbing along. I'm just a kid again, doing what I did again, singing a song. When the red, red robin comes bobbing along. When the red, red robin comes bobbing along. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, our mother loved song time. She loved it when members of the family sang songs, and she loved singing together, which we'll do a little bit at the end of today. So thank you so much for that, Luna. I want to now bring on Bob Goss from the Daily Bread Soup Kitchen, who's going to say a few words about Miss Ellen. So come on, Bob. Thank you.
Thank you. Appropriate. My speech will be like me, short. So, good afternoon, everyone. So glad to see you here. Great turnout, marvelous people. I would like to extend my very warm welcome to each of you for coming here today to celebrate Ellen's legacy. And that will be the theme of my dissertation here. She was the backbone of inspiration of the kitchen. Let me tell you a little bit about our journey together. 26 years ago, I met Ellen at the Catholic Worker House. And I had no idea what a profound effect she would have on me. She lit a fire under me, and it began the journey to help serve and give back to the community. Everyone wanted to be on Ellen's team. Then come the day we found ourselves homeless as well, without any way to continue serving the community and those in need when the Catholic Worker House no longer felt the need for us to be there. And had it not happened, you wouldn't be sitting here today. So it really worked out great in the end. Ellen kept pushing us forward during that time and always staying optimistic. And before we knew it, we began the next leg of our journey and ending up at the New Covenant Church serving peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to the hungry. And that's when we first started. There was no kitchen available. Ultimately, we wound up through donations, private donations, being able to modernize their kitchen and move forward. Now let's fast forward today. We're able to purchase and move to our own building where we are today, serving peanut butter and jelly sandwiches still, but also able to serve a 3-course meal plus sack lunches to our guests and provide assistance on those who need it. Although we did have to do some major revamping to improve, we no longer permitted to have guests during the pandemic. We had to move forward. And so we didn't miss a day of serving. We immediately went from inside to outside, and it's worked out well. Through it all, Ellen stayed strong and kept us all going with her unique sense of humor and made us more determined to continue on with our mission despite the uncertainty of what the pandemic was bringing. And here we are today, bringing our guests out of the code into our warm building for good nourishment, food, assistance, and fellowship. I would like to take a moment to have all our volunteers please stand. Most of them are already standing, but I know some are sitting here because stay standing, please. As we all pledge to honor Ellen's legacy and work to enrich the lives of our guests as she taught us, I would like to extend a warm invitation to our visitors to take a tour of our premises and appreciate what Ellen's inspiration has brought forth. In closing, I would like to say a special thank you to each and every of you for the support through the years. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bob. So I wrote a little brief remembrance that has to do with a childhood book and story and movie that is a favorite of mine and maybe many of ours. And I know that our mother really appreciated also the work of E.B. White. So I have to get my glasses on here. In 1973, when I was about 6 years old, I saw the animated movie version of Charlotte's Web at the now defunct movie theater at Country Fair, Champaign. I think I went with my brother John. And apparently I was weeping when the film was over and I was inconsolable. E.B. White's Charlotte was the ultimate barnyard matriarch, always saving the day with her wit, intelligence, and deep love, just like Ellen. Charlotte the Gray Spider saw the value of every living being, and she lifted up Wilbur the pig so that he was cherished by the farmer Zuckerman with the goal that he would spare Wilbur's life. Ellen Jane Atterbury McDowell used to cook and serve meals to 6 kids, as well as herself and my father, in an 8-foot by 9-foot kitchen in our home. After our eldest brother died, as John mentioned, and the older kids moved out of the house, she had to reinvent herself. Her social justice work led her to the Catholic Worker House, which led her here to the Daily Bread Soup Kitchen. Every year, my mother and I went on trips to Chicago, to the Bismarck Hotel, to FAO Schwartz, to the Lyric Opera of Chicago, to the Art Institute. And here locally, we went to Cranert Center, we went to the Station Theater, and we even went to R-rated movies together. She fed us not only with food, but also with art, music, literature, and she held a deep knowledge that God was in charge, was good, and was looking over all of us. She radiated that to everyone, even to skeptics like me. In 1977, she inherited a farmhouse in rural Illinois from her aunt, my great aunt Isabel. My mother became the matriarch of that barnyard as well. The countess of this rural manor where spiders reigned supreme, as well as mice, of course. The times I spent with her were some of our best. She was at her most content and relaxed. In 1980, we spent a summer in East St. Louis, my mother's hometown, and we commuted to St. Louis, where I was singing professionally as a 12-year-old with Opera Theater of St. Louis. Surrounded by the arts and by my loving parents and family, I found my way to my future calling. She lived a long time, as John mentioned, 99 years, but it was so hard losing her because her mind and spirit were always 1,000%. She could think circles around just about everyone, even in her last weeks and months. We will miss her fierce intelligence, wit, wisdom, and strength. I now think that when I cried at the end of Charlotte's Web, I was fearing the inevitable. Just like Charlotte, Ellen led a life of service to protect and lift up others. She did so not as a burden, but with joy, humor, and intelligence. I close with 3 short quotes from Charlotte's Web. These autumn days will shorten and grow cold. The leaves will shake loose from the trees and fall. Christmas will come, then the snows of winter. You will enjoy the beauty of the frozen world, for you mean a great deal to Zuckerman, and he will not harm you ever. Winter will pass, the days will lengthen, the ice will melt in the pasture pond. The song sparrow will return and sing, the frogs will awake, the warm wind will blow again. All these sights and sounds and smells will be yours to enjoy, Wilbur, this lovely world, these precious days. Nobody of the hundreds of people that had visited the fair knew that a gray spider had played the most important part of all. A spider's web is stronger than it looks. Although it is made of thin, delicate strands, the web is not easily broken. Thank you. I'd like to bring up Dr. Ollie Watts-Davis again. Thank you very much.
Shall we gather at the river where bright angels' feet have trod, with its crystal tide forever flowing by the throne of God? Yes, we'll gather by the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints by the river that flows by the throne of God. Soon we'll reach the shining river. Soon our pilgrimage will cease. Soon our happy hearts will quiver with the
Thank you so much. So now's the period where if you want to say a few words about Ellen, please come on up. Don't be shy. She was very clear as we were, as she was nearing the end of her life. She said, I really want to have something where people can come up and say a few words. She also, I wanted to say something about the song that we just heard, the beautiful rendition of At the River. Every year, our family took us down to Pere Marquette State Park, which is near the confluence of the Illinois, Missouri, and Mississippi rivers. So this song meant a lot to her, and she was very adamant that this song appear at her memorial. So we had a version yesterday, and we had a version today. So it's definitely was top on her list. Would anyone like to start us out? Come up and say something? Do we have someone right here? All right, awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Miss Ellen, I met her at the soup kitchen for the first time, and she said, Miss Johnson, what is you doing? I said, nothing. But one day, Miss Ellen is a sweet lady. She helped so many peoples, and she helped me and my family when we was down and out. And one day, I got in trouble, and the first person I had to call on was Miss Ellen. She said, Miss Johnson, what you do this time? And I said, Miss Ellen, I'm going to tell you what I did. I got in a little trouble, and I need your help. And she said, Miss Johnson, what is I'm going to do with you? And I said, Miss Ellen, I just need you for this last time. And she said, I'm going to do this for you, but I got something to tell you. You got to get your life right. And if it weren't for Miss Ellen, I wouldn't be here today. And Miss Ellen was a sweet lady. So anybody need Miss Ellen? She's the number one. Thank y'all.
Hi there. I'm John. I'm Ellen's baby brother. And she always referred to me as her baby brother. And she was an inspiration to my life. I was asked to speak yesterday at church, and I was prepared to speak. I was asked to speak a few minutes ago, and I'm not prepared to speak. But there are so many stories. I thought at church that I could stand up there and talk forever about my sister. Many, many stories. One I always liked, our parents were very laissez-faire. And she was downtown with my dad and my older brother, who was 3 years older than me, and Dad had a flat tire. And in those days, a flat tire meant you took the tire off the car, you took the inner tube out, you patched the tire, you put the inner tube back in, you use a tire iron, you always carried a tire iron in your, and while he was working on it, she looked in her pocket and she found a nickel. And she figured out that her little brother, Fred, could ride on the bus free, and she could take the bus home while he was fixing the car. And that's when she learned about parenting. Dad explained that to her. I talked a little bit yesterday about her being my second mother. And because she was 11 years older than me. And she always laughed about what a boob she was because she did not have any idea that her mother was expecting a baby. And one day, she came home from school and said, "Where's Mom?" And our aunt said, "Well, she's at the hospital having a baby." And she said, "Oh, you know." So when she came home from the hospital, or when I came home from the hospital, my brother David, who was a year older than her, Irish twins they were, my brother looked at me and said, "Okay, you take that one, I'll take this one." So I guess I was lucky. I got Ellen, and she looked after me. And I told a story about how I saw her baking a cake in the kitchen. This was around supper time, and I said, "I'd really like to learn how to do that." Now, I was 6 years old. And she said, "Well, we'll get up early tomorrow, and we'll bake a cake before school." Now, you got to understand, this was not in a box, you know. It was flour and baking powder and so on. And so we got up and we baked the cake, and I guess I did most of the work, and it turned out well. And that began a career of baking cakes for me. And when my den mother and my Cub Scouts had a birthday, I quickly baked her a cake. And I would bake cakes for people around the neighborhood when they had birthdays and take them to their house. It became such a wonderful career for me. I once made a cake for a fellow when I was in college, and we brought it home to the room, and we had ice cream and Coca-Cola, and he began to blubber like a baby. I mean, he was just inconsolable. And I said, "Frank, what in the world is wrong?" And he said, "I have never had a birthday party in my life." And Frank was about 20 years old at the time. But I ended my cake baking story with a very recent case where a neighbor woman was having a birthday, and her husband said, "What kind of cake do you want?" And she said, "I want a carrot cake by John." So that's quite a compliment. I did paraphrase Matthew yesterday. Peter asked me if I wanted to speak at her mass, and I said yes, I'd like to. It's appropriate. And I had no idea what I was going to say. And then the gospel talked about the day that the Sadducees and the Pharisees tried to trap Jesus. I don't know whether it was Sadducees or Pharisees. We know they were the bad guys, and Jesus was a good guy. But they tried to ensnare him, and they said, "Teacher, tell us what is the greatest commandment." And he said, "You must love the Lord your God as with your whole heart and your whole soul." And the second to the first is basically, he said, it was nearly as important, and that is you love your fellow man as yourself. And one thing I learned about her is she liked everybody except those people who wanted to push somebody around, and she didn't like them. So God bless you, and thank you for coming.
Good afternoon. My name is Charlie Brown. True story. Okay, so get that out the way. So Miss Ellen, yeah. When I think about Miss Ellen, I think about, I used to always tell her that. So I used to sit down and talk with her. Mother Teresa. She reminded me of that kind of spirit. But I met her probably back in the 80s at the Cali Workers House. I was a guest there. And you go up, get a ticket. He had this big old place. these nice place settings. And I thought it was really, really nice for somebody like that to just come in, because most of us, and still is today, we struggle. You know, we struggle with all these different things. Myself, like a lot of others, drug addiction, alcoholism, mental health issues, homelessness, abuse, some form or another. And I was involved in those things and having to be a victim of those things. And to see her to just have the compassion, to have the heart, to reach out to us who was hurting, you know, it enamored me. I mean, it made me want to just be different. So I always thought about it, even when I was out doing drugs, when I was out running the streets and getting in trouble, going to jail and prisons and all that. I thought about Miss Ellen, you know, and how the work she was doing. Kind of reminded me of my mom also, because she's a very true believer, staunch believer in Christ and the Word. So, joy of joys, right? Fast forward now, I get out of prison for the last time in 2014, and I got a chance to give with this organization. Having been a guest for so many years, seeing the love Miss Ellen used to be, you know, she would come down here, she would, you know, engage the guests, she would sit down and talk with them. She was brilliant, she had a sharp mind, but at the same time, very simple. And so now I got this golden opportunity to give back. And now I've been with this organization now for 9 years, following her footsteps, trying to do what I know that she would want done, and just to keep reaching out to our fellow man, to keep trying to help somebody. You know, like the gentleman said, the greatest love we can have is to love God first and love our fellow man. And we see all the suffering in our world. It's tremendous. Everywhere we look, people are suffering. And we need more helpers. We need more workers. We need more people like Miss Ellen. We need more people like the volunteers who work here, who come here daily to give their heart and their soul to give back to this community. It's a great, great organization. It says a 5-star, I say it's 10. This is how great this, it's a great, great group of people that we work with every day, and we still try to pass on that love Ms. Ellen gave us to just engage our fellow man, sit down, feed him a meal, not just only feed him a meal, but help him in some other fashion. You know, talk to him, see what his problems is, see how you may be able to help in some fashion. So, Ms. Ellen, her legacy will probably be here until Christ come back. I'm sure it will, rightfully so. But we love her, we all love her, I love her, and thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, that was wonderful. So if anyone changes their mind and wants to come back, we still have a few little more things, so feel free. But now we're going to do a sing-along. And you should have a program. If you don't, maybe someone near you has one. I don't know, we probably handed them all out, but you know, we can kind of distribute them around. We're going to sing the song Lift Every Voice. Okay, so we want to welcome back my niece, Luna, and Dr. Ollie Watts-Davis. Thank you. And we're going to sing all 3 verses.
Or then they should come up if everybody's standing. Come on. There's space here.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the holy a rejoicing rise, high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. After the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou hast passed by thy might. Let us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee, shadowed beneath thy hand. May we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land. Wonderful.
I was going to do the loving kindness thing, and then we'll do it. So we wanted to close with a meditation that our mother really, really loved in the last few years of her life, and it's something that we can all do together silently. And some of you have heard of this type of thing before. It's called loving kindness. And Ellen used to do this with her friend Nancy Olson, who I think is not able to be here today, but she was here yesterday. So we'll do this meditation, then we'll have one more sing along, and then we'll adjourn to have coffee and cookies and chat amongst ourselves. So thank you all so much for coming, and I'm going to read this loving kindness meditation that we can all do. You can close your eyes or keep them open as you like. So, to start out with loving kindness, recognize a place of loving kindness within yourself. It is there. Honor it, awaken it, and actively draw on it. Drawing upon the source of loving kindness within, Bring to mind someone for whom you feel sincere goodwill and tenderness, someone you love very much. From your source, send loving kindness towards this person and bless them. Now, awaken loving kindness for someone who is a casual friend or associate, someone not in your inner circle, but a bit further removed, someone you admire or appreciate. Send love to that individual. Now, send loving kindness to someone about whom you feel neutral or indifferent. For example, a waiter who served your dinner. Send your blessing to this person. Think of someone who has hurt you, who has talked evil of you, whom you find it very difficult to like or you don't enjoy being around. Bless them. Send this would-be enemy your love. Bring all of the first 5 individuals into the stream of flowing love, including yourself. Hold all here for a few moments. And finally, extend this love to embrace all beings in the universe. It is one piece of love, one love toward all, regardless of religion, race, culture, or likability. This practice can help you know in your mind, heart, and body that love is not determined by the worthiness of the object. Love is determined by the giver of the love. These steps can be repeated for other limitless qualities. Remember, spiritual gifts increase with use. Love, joy, and equanimity will grow as you let them flow. You are simply an instrument, a conduit for the inflow and outflow of the gifts of the Spirit. You are interbeing. So thank you, Ellen, for bringing loving kindness into all of our lives. Thank you all for being here. We're going to close out with a song. I'm going to bring my brother Andy McDowell up to the stage and my niece Luna. And this particular song is pretty well known, but we are going to ask you to join in on the chorus. And I'm going to just tell you the words so that you remember them. Will the circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
I was standing by my window on a cold and cloudy day when I saw that hearse come rolling for to carry my mother away.
Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? Will the better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky? Undertaker, 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 please drive slow. For this lady you are carrying, Lord, I hate to see her go. Will the circle be unbroken by and by,
Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
Oh, I followed close behind her, tried to hold up and be brave, but I couldn't.
My sorrow when I laid her in the grave.
Will the circle be unbroken
By and by, Lord, by and by.
There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord,
in the sky.
I went back home, the home was lonesome, since my mother, she was gone. All my brothers and sisters crying, what a home so sad and alone. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
We sang songs, song of childhood, hymns of faith that made us strong, ones that Mother Helen taught us. Hear the angels sing along.
Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by?
There's a better
Home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Oh, will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody who made this possible today, especially all of the volunteers at the Daily Bread Soup Kitchen, Bob Goss and Pam Hagel and Henry Sajeski and the entire Wednesday crew and just everybody who helped make this happen. And we want to thank the piano shop for loaning us this beautiful piano. And I think that's it for now. So unless anyone else has anything else, thank you so much for coming. There's a guest book. Please sign up at the front. And please hang around for a bit to have some refreshments. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.